Hey everyone, Mortgage Nerd here. I want to have a little bit more of a casual discussion today, talking about birth rates, how birth rates affect demand in real estate. Back in 2019, there's videos of me talking about this, talking about how Roe versus Wade contraception in the 1970s affected the market crash. They exacerbated the market crash of 2008 because there was so much less demand from first-time home buyers. Let me show you what I'm talking about. So here, take a look at my screen. 1957 was the peak of the baby boomers. And then in the late 60s, they started with contraception. In the 70s, 1972 was Roe versus Wade. So population birth rates dropped considerably. Now, first-time home buyers are 33 years old. That's the average. So let's say 30 to 35, right? So you take 1972, you add 30 years, we're in 2002. You add 35 years, we're in 2007. Just because Roe versus Wade hit in 1972, as you can see in the chart, doesn't mean that that was the lowest point in birth rates. The lowest point in birth rates came a few years after, 75, 76, 77. So add 33 years to that, and you have the 2008 to 2010 period, the lowest demand that we've seen in a generation or two. So you add mortgage fraud, you add appraisal fraud, you add all the other issues, you add extreme amount of inventory. We were over on inventory, overbuilt. We had 3.7 million homes available for sale in 2008. There are 900,000 homes available for sale now at the beginning of 2022. So let's look at where we are now. This is talking about 2008 so far. Let's go look at what happened here. So 1990, this is the next peak of population after the baby boomers. That's the millennials. That's the biggest portion of our population right now are the millennials. And guess what? Add 33 years to 1990. We're not even there yet. That's next year. That's 2023. So if the largest portion of our population right now, which is the millennials, are just starting to peak at their first-time home buyer age range, what do you think is happening? We're seeing a huge rise in demand. Lowest inventory that we've seen in a long time, lowest in history. We also have the lowest foreclosures in history. Yet there's still a lot of people out there saying there's a market crash coming, or a correction, or a slowdown. It's not coming. Not in the next year or two, that's for sure. And I've been saying this, I said it before the pandemic hit. I said the next recession is not going to be a crash. There's a lot of videos. Maybe I'll do some Nerdstradamus for you so we can go over that. Now, what's going to happen in 5, 7 years? Maybe there'll be a drop in that demand of first-time home buyers, and you mix that in with an overabundance of inventory and other factors, then we might see another correction, but no time soon. So on that point, what's the future going to hold? When is there going to be another issue, another crash? It's going to come. Is it going to be a 50% drop the way that we saw from 2008, 2010? I don't know. We don't know anything that far ahead. We are only guessing. But I'm planning. I'm looking to see what's going to happen in the future, because population is estimated to peak at about 10 million in the world and then drop because of fertility rates. There's a lot of infertility now and a lot of other reasons. But let's look at this chart here. So this shows in 2007, birth rates were expected to continue going up this way. But instead, the actual birth rates have been dropping tremendously. 2020 was even worse. Maybe because of the pandemic, maybe because of infertility. There's a lot of maybes and what ifs, but one thing is for sure, birth rates are going down. So when you look at first-time home buyers 33 years later, it's going to be a problem. And you also look at millennials becoming what the baby boomers are now, retirees collecting Social Security, collecting other retirement benefits, but then there's not enough young population to supplement that and add that income. That's going to be an issue. We're far from that. We're talking about right now, there is no crash coming. Here's another one, global fertility rate. So we're seeing it from the 50s. Look at the fertility rate of women and how it's been dropping. There's a lot of reasons for this. I'm not a medical professional. I'm not going to start talking about that, but it's interesting to see what's going on and how our population should be in decline. And of course, we have to think about all the economic repercussions that come with that. So the last one is this one, the pandemic baby bust. In 2020 over here on the right, because of the pandemic, we had the fewest babies born in a long, long time, going back to the 70s again. Remember, you had 33 years to that point in the 70s, and it coincided just right with the market crash. So what's going to happen 33 years from now in the 2050s? Either way, it's a great correlation, and it only proves what I've been saying: market's not crashing, mortgage nerd out.